There are hundreds of characters in the MCU, but who's really the most powerful out of all of them? And I'm not just talking like Thor or Captain Marvel or even Scarlet Witch. No, I'm talking who is really the most powerful. Erishim, Strange Supreme, Loki, Infinity Ultron. Who's really the most powerful character in the MCU? Let's get into it. And starting out on the list, we've got Adam Warlock. And he's going to kind of serve as the baseline for this list as we try and find the most powerful MCU character. Because Adam Warlock is already incredibly powerful. He can literally solo the Guardians of the Galaxy like it's nothing. But while he's quite formidable, again, he's just the baseline. Adam was released from his cocoon prematurely. He's not as powerful as he could be, and we're really just getting started here. Icarus is the leader and most powerful member of the Eternals. He's a cosmically powerful super robot, basically function like Superman in the MCU. He's the most powerful Eternal out there. He's a country level threat, is basically immortal, and can literally fly faster than light speed. He probably would have been much higher on this list if he hadn't gotten a guilty conscience and flown headfirst into the sun, because just one showing is only going to get you so high here. Gaia is one of the first Super Skrulls out there, and man is she incredibly powerful. She's got the ability to transform into essentially any hero or villain that we've seen so far in the MCU, including, but not limited to, Thor, Hulk, Captain Marvel, Drax, even Thanos. So like the strength of the Hulk, the energy powers of Captain Marvel, the agility of Spider-Man, and the fighting skill of Captain America, all in one person. But even though she can copy everyone else's powers, I don't really want to say that she's as powerful or even more powerful than the people she's copying, at least not based off just one fight. So that's why she's here on the list. I don't think it's any surprise that the Hulk is a little bit of a disappointment in the MCU. He started out super strong in the Incredible Hulk in the Avengers, had some nice showings in Thor Ragnarok, but then he lost to Thanos in Infinity War, became the Professor Hulk, and never managed to recover. But still, it's the Hulk. The big guy is incredibly strong, and he's had some great feats along the way, fighting against Thor, punching Surtur in the face, or even snapping the Infinity Gauntlet. Kahori was just an ordinary young woman, until her village was raided and she fell into the Tesseract-filled waters in the Forbidden Lake. This transported her to the Sky World, where she gained some truly incredible powers and abilities. She absorbed energy and power from the Space Stone, meaning that Kahori can now basically channel that cosmic energy any way that she wants. She can move at superhuman speed, manipulate objects in the air and can control their movements, even instantly create portals to anywhere in the multiverse and send people through those portals with just a thought. Zeus is the king of the Greek gods and the ruler of Omnipotent City, and that should make him incredibly powerful. Omnipotent City is home to all the most powerful gods out there, and Zeus is ruler over all of them. But Thor was literally able to one-shot Zeus. So it makes you think that while Zeus might have been powerful at one point, he's definitely let himself go and actually isn't close to the most powerful god out there. Ammit was a notorious Aeneid who cast judgment on the impure and evil by devouring their souls. But she decided to start punishing people before they could actually commit any evil act, which led to her being imprisoned by Khonshu. But when Ammit broke out, well, she really showed just how powerful she was, absorbing countless souls and having a massive fight with Khonshu. Doctor Strange is the master of the mystic arts and the sorcerer supreme, easily showing off that he's the most powerful sorcerer on Earth and the greatest defense against any magical threat. And he's done some great things throughout the years. dealing with multiversal threats, fighting against Scarlet Witch, even fighting against Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones. However, while Strange has been able to battle against all sorts of enemies, he's struggled to actually seal the deal and beat a lot of them. His greatest victory was over Dormammu, and even then he only did it with the Time Stone, which he no longer has. That track record kinda holds him back here. The God of Thunder. For a lot of years, Thor was able to hold on to the title as strongest Avenger and most powerful hero in the MCU. Of course, the MCU has been constantly expanding ever since then, and a few people have passed him up. But he's still a god. He's still incredibly powerful. He's the only hero who's legitimately shown off planetary level strength on screen. He's battled against some of the toughest villains out there. He's definitely earned his place on this list. The Asgardian goddess of death and Odin's firstborn, Hela was banished for her bloodlust. When she eventually managed to make her way back, well, she came back with a vengeance. Hela has a mystical connection to Asgard, meaning that she's more powerful there than anywhere else. So her feats might be a little skewed, but she was able to dominate in her fight against Thor every single time. Made it look easy. And it's not like she was not powerful anywhere else. She literally shattered Mjolnir the palm of her hand while still on the earth. Now, yes, Kang the Conqueror was defeated by a whole bunch of ants. You can argue that that should actually eliminate him from this list altogether. But he was a bit depowered there and is claimed to have killed countless different versions of the Avengers, including Thor's, and managed to destroy entire worlds and timelines. So if all of that is true, well then this spot is probably a bit of an undersell. So just decided to meet in the middle, and that's how Kang ended up in this spot here. The Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu definitely has a soft spot for humanity, and continues to help mankind through his avatar, the Moon Knight. While he's not been super impressive while actually in a fight, Khonshu is seen a few times moving stars and moons and planets around with just his mind. Now, this might be nothing more than simply an illusion, but if there's some actual validity to this, and Khonshu is actually moving planets around with ease, well then he's one of the most powerful gods that we've ever seen. Gore, nicknamed the God Butcher, is an alien who was once a devout follower of his religion, but turned to violence when the gods ignored him, which led to his daughter Love to die. From there, he decided to exterminate all the gods. He was able to fight evenly against Thor and beat him, but it's really just how much every other god feared him. Thor believed that they needed to raise up an army of all the most powerful gods in the universe in order to even have a shot at beating him. Captain Marvel is basically in a class all her own compared to a lot of the other heroes in the MCU. Only a few can even remotely compare next to her now that she's had some massive upgrades with her new movie. Like at her best, well, she's at least hundreds of thousands of times faster than the speed of light. She can fight against Thanos and overpower him. Even if he was wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, that's still better than anything anyone else has ever done. And she was legit able to reignite a star just based off her own raw power. She's truly in a class all her own. It kinda took a while for Wanda Maximoff to officially become the Scarlet Witch, but when she did, well, she really cemented her place as a powerhouse in the MCU. She's one of the most powerful magic users we've ever seen, to the point where she's more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange said he had no way to defeat her, and she could take on all the sorcerers of Earth at once. And she's just as powerful against normal heroes too. She easily soloed the Illuminati, which included an alternate version of Captain Marvel. Scarlet Witch was suggested to be a multiversal threat, and she really lived up to the hype. Surtur has always been doom. For countless millennia, it was told that he would bring about Ragnarok, destroying Asgard and completely consuming the realm. Odin and the Asgardians did everything they could to stop that, but they couldn't stand up against destiny for forever. Surtur eventually made his way to Asgard and destroyed everything, completely wiping out the entire realm. The king of Asgard and the ruler of the Nine Realms, Odin for a long time served as a staple in the MCU, one of the most powerful beings out there. I mean, he's the dad of Thor and Hela. You can be sure he's a powerhouse. He was the one who was able to defeat Surtur and imprisoned him in order to stop Ragnarok from happening. He beat Hela and imprisoned her too. He can destroy whole worlds, and his magic is really top class. He can literally create stars with just a thought. Ego is both a celestial and a literal living planet. You can be sure he's insanely powerful. I mean, his entire plan is to span out across the entire galaxy and bring it all under his control by literally becoming one with the galaxy. And he technically already had half the power to do it inside him already. So if he had just set his sights on, say, becoming one with half the galaxy, well, he could have done it all by himself. Told you he was powerful. Alioth is a trans-temporal entity created by rifts in space-time, and now serves as the guardian of the void. He can consume everything. Energy, matter, even time and space. Nothing is left behind when Alioth passes through. In fact, Alioth is the whole reason why the multiversal war ended. He devoured countless branched versions of reality and turned it all into nothingness. Dormammu is a being older than time itself, existing outside of our concept of reality as the ruler of the dark dimension. He's got absolute and total control over the dark dimension, which is just an amalgamation of all the countless universes that Dormammu has consumed in the past and brought into his realm. And his plan is to conquer and absorb all the infinite universes throughout the multiverse, bringing it all into the dark dimension. Of course, for as powerful as he does have one massive Achilles heel. If you're able to control time, well, then you can beat him. And considering that pretty much everyone else on this list can control time, well, that means that pretty much everyone else from this point on can beat him. Thanos. For a good long while, he stood on top of the MCU as the most powerful being there is, mostly because he had the Infinity Gauntlet and no one else did. Since then, a few people have got their hands on the Infinity Stones too. They've actually shown off better feats with it. But never forget that Thanos was the OG. And never forget that he managed to kill literally half of the entire universe too. He's a warlord, a genocidal maniac, and still one of the biggest powerhouses to date. When Steve Rogers wasn't able to take the super soldier serum himself, Peggy Carter stepped up in his place, becoming Captain Carter, the ultimate soldier. And just like Captain America, Captain Carter is superhumanly strong, fast, tough. She's a world-class fighter and a menace with her vibranium shield. However, the version of Captain Carter that I'm talking about here is when she fought against Doctor Strange, and so she gained Infinity Ultron's armor and all 6 Infinity Stones, Hela's helmet and her power, and a gamma-irradiated sword. That's when she just leaped up in power, became one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Of course, compared to the likes of Ultron or even Strange, Captain Carter didn't really use all this power that creatively, and mostly just resorted to firing out energy blast or still trying to fight hand to hand. Doctor Strange was the Sorcerer Supreme and master of the mystic arts, who was hell-bent on saving the love of his life, Christine Palmer, and so Strange went about collecting more and more power, gaining more and more abilities, until he ultimately accidentally destroyed his entire reality trying to bring her back. This is where the Watcher found him and recruited him to lead a team in stopping Infinity Ultron from destroying the multiverse. And this fight was mostly Doctor Strange versus Ultron. Ultron even acknowledged this. It was Strange who was primarily fighting against all 6 Infinity Stones in a multiversal threat. And we saw this again with his battle against Captain Carter and Kahori. Even with the Infinity Stones and their powers and all the magical items you could want, Kahori and Carter still struggle to beat Strange all on his own. He's that powerful. Erishim the Judge is the Prime Celestial, the one responsible for causing the Big Bang, creating the universe, and bringing light to the universe. He's the first of the Celestials, beings who all came before the very dawn of creation, and the most powerful of all of them, being their leader. The dude can literally create universes. He's insanely powerful. The Watcher is a 5th dimensional being who observes the multiverse from the nexus of all realities, and is easily one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Now, while he has sworn an oath of never intervening, only watching, if the Watcher ever does have to throw some hands, well, watch out. He's a cosmic being of nearly unlimited power and potential. He's got immense, pretty much god-like powers and abilities. The Watcher is easily one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Nathaniel Richards was a scientist from the 31st century who discovered alternate universes and other different versions of himself. When some of these variants attempted to conquer other realities, a multiversal war broke out, and so Richards weaponized Alioth to end the war. Then he became He Who Remains, founding the Time Variance Authority in order to preserve the sacred timeline, and sitting at the end of all time in order to prevent his variants from coming back. He's basically immortal and omniscient. He literally manipulated the whole multiverse from his throne at the end of everything. In this universe, Ultron succeeded in his mission to beat the Avengers, and he didn't stop there. He was quickly able to kill Thanos, steal the Infinity Stones with all this power, while he went out and straight up wiped out the universe. And as he stood there, bathing in the silence, well, he accidentally discovered the existence of the multiverse, went about trying to destroy that too. He was going to destroy absolutely anyone who stood in his way. If it wasn't for the Guardians and the multiverse working together and being able to take him out, well, I don't think that anyone could have actually stopped Ultron. Eternity is a cosmic entity that came into existence at the beginning of time, along with his sister Infinity, his son Entropy, and death itself. He represents all time in the universe, and along with Infinity are 2 of the 3 essential forces in the universe, expanding out all life and creation. And so, together with Entropy, whose whole purpose is destruction, they manage to keep the cycles of creation and destruction in balance throughout the whole multiverse. When the MCU started, did anyone actually think that 15 years later that Loki would be the most powerful character out there? I sure didn't. But he is, no doubt about it. I mean, his power is literally infinite and immeasurable. He managed to destroy the temporal loom and pull together all the timelines and universes throughout the multiverse and forge them into a creation all his own, where he now reigns supreme. Loki is a complex multiversal being here. He's definitely the most powerful character in the MCU. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.